All right, good morning, y'all. How you doing? It's House Edge Live. It's John from Casino Gaming Central here from sunny Las Vegas at 7 o'clock in the morning. We are working through our little mini series here on vacation versus versus targeted betting or targeted sessions. So, as you know, I'm here out of town for a while, and it's been different, right? I don't really what I thought I was going to do and what I have done is way different. I thought when I came here that I wasn't going to either not play at all or play every day. That was my my two options. And the reason why I say that is being here for a month and a half or so, and knowing that I have a cruise coming up, and that was the kind of the big factor. Is I got this cruise coming, so I didn't want to play a lot and put the money that I was going to that I had set aside for cruise gambling at risk in Vegas. And so that was my real decision point. Was not so much not wanting to play. It was more about let me make sure that I'm smart with the money that I got. Right. So that decision kind of got made for me. But I have played a couple of times, and both times that I played vacation style, and I got to thinking about how your brain just changes so fast when you're in vacation mode, or like I don't care mode. I guess I hate to call it that, but I don't care mode versus when you're just on task. So I think we'll talk today a little bit about staying on task and about the differences between those two styles of play. And actually, like, it's not the worst thing in the world actually to play vacation style. It's not. Just got to be aware of it, I guess, and be prepared for it. So let's jump on in and hit it here. So the first thing that I want to obviously talk about is this, which is what is going on there? My screen's all jaggedy. Oh, because of that. Is this no matter what mode you're in, if you're playing for time, for comps, for profit, for fun, the casino doesn't really care. They just want every crack they can at your money for as long as you're willing to stay there. So their whole system is built on time and bankroll. And I think of all the things we've talked about over the last 5 years, the most important thing to remember is that they're built for time because they are never closed. And they're built for bankroll because they can afford to stay open and run their bankroll 24/7, 365. You can't. You don't have enough money for that. So you will eventually run out of time or money, and you'll miss out on good outcomes, and you'll burn money waiting for them. And they know that. They exist to take everything from you. Whatever you brought, their stop loss, they look at you as having stop loss zero all the time. That's their whole shtick. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we can debate that. Again, I love gambling. I think casinos are fun. I'd love to own one someday. So I don't begrudge them that. That's the business model. But we have to know that that's what's going on, right? And again, God forbid you get good at it, they'll bankrupt your ass or they'll ban your ass. My casino won't do that. My casino will figure. My casino is going to be when I have it. It'll be people aware. Let's just say that it'll be aware of that. We're not going to be. We'll be in the business to take money, of course. That's the business model, but we're not going to be there to take your house. Like that's not a thing for us. All right. What tools do you have? Who can guess? It's the bridge, right? It's your brain. Your brain is your tool. And I think if I talk about the bridge every day, I'm sorry if it gets boring for you, but I think it's important to remember that your brain is your tool. Okay. Bankroll to some degree. Bankroll, I think, is one of the most critical things we can talk about. If you have bankroll, you play different. You think different, you act different, you walk different, you bet, everything's different. If you don't have bankroll, you think, walk, act, and play differently. You just do. But your bankroll, as a tool that it is, can be used as leverage during wins. It can be used to recover or to withstand loss. So that's the one tangible thing you got. Everything else is your brain, your risk, how smart you are, how well you know your games. Do you have discipline? Do you set goals? Do you keep your emotions out of it? All those things are you. That's all you problems, right? Things that you can actually work on, things that you can talk to your spouse about. You can talk to yourself on the way in the car. You can have some self-talk about the rest of the bridge. It's all about you until you get to the table. And then we talk about that's where your bankroll comes into play. That's where your budget tiering and your goal tiering works for you. If you don't have the other mental parts figured out, you're going to burn big time when it comes down to when do I level up my bets? When do I walk away? When do I use my bankroll to kind of come back and recover? So you need all that to work together. All right. So today's topic and what we're going to get into today is this notion of I think we're going to talk today about the vacation versus targeting, right? So if we think about what does that really mean, um, yesterday I talked to you about time and money, and I talked about that because I ran out of both, or actually I had one. I didn't run out of both. I had one fight me. So I was at a casino. We had a great session. The team had a great session. I did not because my money ran out. Right, I had very little money because I wasn't going to put a lot at risk because of the cruise, like I talked about. I was not, so I did have discipline. I was not going to dig into my pocket and pull out the other 500 that I had. I had my 500, I lost it, whatever. I need to keep the rest so I, can have some degen time on that cruise. And I ended up missing out on a roll that probably would have maybe 10 grand, right? I watched a 57 roller go by because of it. It happens, right? I ran out of money because I was there too long. Had I not been there, if we left or I left before that roll, we aren't having this conversation today, right? And that's just the way that it works. But I'm on vacation, right? And I had this mindset of not goal-oriented play, but I had this mindset of let's just go out there and blast and have some fun with the team, right? That's the topic for the week. Today, I want to talk about what's in here during those times. I think it's important. Tomorrow, because I've been in Vegas and I've played at a bunch of 5-hour tables, I think it's time we talk about that, about everybody wanting a 5-hour table. So, with all that said, let's hop on in and let's do some fact or fiction here. And again, the fact or fiction today, the truth or bullshit, the A or B, whatever you want to call it, today is going to be about vacation play versus targeted play. All right, and here we go. Let's do it. So to define these two things, and we'll just leave it up here on the screen the whole time. To define them, number one, target practice, I'm calling it, which is, well, I hate to say it like this because it's going to sound like I'm a degenerate, but if I lived here, I don't live here yet, I'm here on a long vacation. If I lived here and I played every day, if I went to the casino on the way to my job, stopped in at South Point, played, and went to work, it'd be target practice. I'd be there doing that for the purpose of trying to build bankroll. It's a bank. Remember my daily paycheck? It'd be basically that. Come in, buy in, use the whole buy-in to make the goal. I'm still having a known loss, right? A known amount of loss. I know what that would be. It's scoped, but the win is also known. Go in there, couple of 2-3 throws, right? If it's my day, I'm out, right? It's a clear decision point. I hit my goal, I leave the excess on the table, play that excess out, and get the hell out of there, right? That feels like work. This is what Ken from Ken Knows Gambling talks about. He used to be a professional gambler. He had to do it. He did what I just described every single day for a year or 2 years, for the purposes of living, paying his rent and stuff like that, right? That's a tough deal. But you're in a lane. You're built to have a scoped loss, have a known amount you're going to win, have a very clear time when you're saying, I'm done playing now, right? Either the money didn't work today, your plan didn't work, or your plan worked perfectly and you boogie. Regardless of what happens before you or after you, doesn't matter. That feels like work, right? There's no joy in that other than the satisfaction you get from taking the house for a little bit of money. Okay, that's target practice. That's building bankroll. That is living on it. That is whatever you want to call it. That's your daily grind kind of a thing. The vacation play is the flip side of that. Okay, your losses, by the way, in both are scoped. You have a scoped loss. When I'm playing vacation style, or you're playing vacation style, you do have a scoped loss. You know what it's going to be. It's going to be everything, right? When you're on vacation, you're not typically, most people, protecting bankroll. Now you may have envelopes, right? I may have my 2 sessions per day, 3 days of vacation. So I have, 6 session envelopes. I'm scoping my loss for each session to what's in that envelope. That's at least smart, right? But you're going down there from your room to the casino, or you're casino hopping, or you go to a show and you stay at the place you saw the show at. You go down to the TI and you see O or something, and or Miss Theory, and you come out and you play for a while there before dinner, or like maybe you play before dinner. and you kind of go on tilt before dinner. That happens on vacation. Vacation is very unknown, right? You're on a cruise ship and you're going to play for a while, then you're going to go watch a comedian, you're going to come back, right? You don't know how long your sessions are. You're not going there, right? I'm not going to go see a show and, or and whatever, and burn, 3 hours before dinner on a 5-minute session and then not play. This is not what it's not what most people do. You're on vacation to play. So your brain disconnects completely from the money. When I'm target practicing, when I'm going to my local casino in Wenatchee and I'm playing blackjack and I'm winning 50, 60, 75, 50, 60, 100 every day, that's target practice. I'm not having any fun. I'm not going there because I love going. I'm going there because I got a job to do, right? To me, that's a drive-by, hit and run for the purpose of trying to build bankroll. There's a reason there, right? I'm not going there willy-nilly having fun. You follow? So the vacationer or the vacation style of play, unfortunately, is this really big swing and miss, right? You're pedal down, you're going to go for the whole thing, you're going to be there as long as you're going to be there, and who cares, we're having fun, right? You have a known loss, which is all of it. You don't know what you're going to win. When I go to South Point on the way to work, I know what I'm going to win. I'm going to buy in for, I'm going to go out there buying for $500. My plan works. I'm winning 250 and I'm gone. Easy peasy. If I'm going out with friends with the same $500, I'm probably going to burn the $500 or I'm going to win $5,000. There's no in between there, right? Because vacation mindset disconnects from the money. Target play mindset, you're very connected to your money because your money's there to do a job for you. When you're on vacation, necessarily not. I think that's where the brain disconnects. I think that's why cities like Vegas are different than cities like Seattle and our tribal casinos. Because people who go to the tribal casinos, for the most part, are not there on vacation. They're locals for the most part. You see the same people there all the time. They're either degenning, they're trying to make their rent money, right? Or they're like me, going in there on the regular, and it's a very combative situation because people are going there not to just burn it like on a vacation. Sometimes it depends on the casino, but most cases that's not the way it is, right? In Vegas, nobody's in Vegas trying to make a living. Like there's a handful of people trying to do this target practice thing. Most people come to Vegas and they're just like, give it to me. Let me have some fun. That town's built on that. The town is built on people coming here trying to hit home runs. That's the whole point of it. And they disconnect you from your dough. That's the thing. All of it disconnects you. Like I said, the whole rhythm of dinner and a show, let's arrive early, let's play a little bit, let's have some dinner, let's play for an hour, let's go to our show, let's stay here after the show and play for a few hours. Well, how do you budget for that? Right? How do you target practice that? And I think you can, but I think most people won't, right? You could say to yourself, I'm going to take on the way to the show, that first hour, we got here too early, whatever. All right, let's go make $100. Let's go make $1,000, whatever your bankroll supports, right? Let's go make and stop after the show before dinner or whatever your timing is, right? Do a short session, cash out. And what you do is you say, well, I'll take those 2 wins if I can get them. Maybe we get lucky, right? Those 2 wins become the bankroll that you light on fire for the longer session later on. Maybe that's how you do it, right? Maybe you can disconnect from the unknown length of time session and connect into the other ones. Can you turn your brain on or off? Are you able to do that? Are you able to turn your brain on and off when you're on vacation and say, I'm going to go to work now before dinner. I'm going to go to work now before the show, and I'm going to let loose afterwards. Can your brain actually do that? Dan's talking about why not always target practice, right? But you live here, right? And when I live here, I will probably always target practice. But I don't live here, and I don't live on the cruise ship, and I don't live in Atlantic City. When I go to AC, right, I'm going to see Chris and Craig and Jeff and Louie and all the team, right? I'm not going there with $300 to do my drawdown and then stop playing and watch the team play. That's not what I'm going there for. I'm going there with $1,500, and we're gonna have a day. Like there's a mindset difference. Now, you can still have a day, and I think to Dan's point, maybe what you do is target practice a shooter, right? Take a scoped amount of bankroll and say, look, out of my 1,500, here's 110, let's say 150 per shooter, right? I will take that, and the goal is to take 50 away and stop. Goal is to take 50 away and stop, and maybe work my way around that table with everybody and take a little bit from each guy, and then build up enough money as a goal. And if something happens to happen, you have money to play with instead of taking it from your source. So anyway, I find it very interesting, and I'm not a psychologist, although I play one on TV. My daughter's a psychologist. She's actually about to start her master's program next year for psychology. She loves this kind of stuff because the way that your brain turns off and disconnects in different situations, I think is fascinating, and so does she. So anyway, that's your talk for today. I want you to think about this when you're out playing. Are you there to target practice? Are you willing to walk in and walk out quickly, hit a goal and be gone, right? Or are you actually there for some other reason where you have no clear decision point? It's fun, but there's your decision to leave is random. It's random based on what the group decides, or potentially when the show gets out, or whatever, right? There's no known exit strategy. So think about ways we can target our play in those times. And again, I don't have the answer for you, but I do have the question for you. Which of those types of play do you actually do? Are you a target shooter or are you a vacationer, right? Which one are you? Which one do you enjoy more? Which one can you actually execute when you're actually out there playing? And if you want to target shoot more often, how do you do it? How do you turn your brain off and on in all these different situations? I find it very difficult when I'm out here, and I'll be the first one to do the mea culpa here. When I'm out here and I'm playing with my friends, when I have Craps for the Cure, when I'm out with the group I was with the other night, I have a really hard time with the bridge. I have a really hard time with the bridge. When I'm out with little birds or big birds with the Casino Quest cruise, I have a really hard time with the bridge because you're there with a team. You're doing a thing. You got a goal as a team to stay there and kind of felt the table. It's very hard for me to not play that way. I struggle with this, and I have struggled with it for the last while. I've probably had like 9 or 10 losing sessions, in the last, 9 or 10 times I went, because I've always been going with, I've not been doing the target practice thing. Now, my blackjack play aside, my craps play has always been with the team. I'm having a very hard time target practicing during team time. And I'm the first one to admit it, and that's why we're having the shows this week. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and tell you that I win all the time, because I don't. And I think a lot of it is because I can't turn my brain into the bridge when I'm with a group of people that are like the team. That's very hard for me. And I assume it's very hard for all of you. When you're going by yourself, it's a whole different story. When you're with a group of folks, way different story. And I'll tell you what, when I play with Dan, I haven't played with Dan yet this trip, but I will at some point here. When I play with Dan, who is a target shooter like I am, typically, he and I both goal, you got goal, all right, we're out of here. And we'll drive and we'll go get pancakes, right? I mean, literally, I'm fine. Dan and I are fine to go somewhere, play, and leave in 10 minutes. We don't care. Don't care. We enjoy that. We actually get a little chuckle out of what we just did, right? Most team play doesn't work that way. All right, let's bug out and go to questions before I get to work here. So I'll look in here. So let's see. Let's see. South Point doesn't want me. They don't want that kind of player for sure, right? Although they are a locals casino, they don't want me. They don't want my throw. I think I would get a lot of heat down there for the way that I throw. But yeah, I think they're from what I hear, they're very good tables and they're very good dealers. They're actually good at it. They're just not very friendly. All right. They're double odds. It's weird. All right. Victor says gambling's for entertainment, and then there's gaming. What's more fun to scratch an itch? Gaming is a different experience. And I prefer gaming. It preserves my bankroll. So there's gambling and gaming, two different things, right? Gambling is literally like we talked about, letting your money on fire in hopes that you get that 57 roller. Gaming is a little different. Your target shooting is a little different. Your goal is not to hit the home run. Your goal is to bleed them dry. And that's, I think, a good mindset thing to remember. Dan says, why not always target practice? Win some, then go have fun doing something else while you're on vacation. Great point. And I think in Vegas, there's a better opportunity for that in Vegas because you got shows, you have all sorts of things you can do here that are not part of the floor. So, if you plan your vacation not around gambling but around everything else, maybe have a little bit better shot at it, right? Victor says some casinos are not resort destinations. He played at Resorts World recently. Boy, what's Resorts World like? I've heard stories about that place being, well, besides the huge limits on those tables, very disconnected and old grumpy dealers. That's the story that I've heard about Resorts World up there in the New York Resorts World. All right, Gary says if you showed up at some casino and had the discipline to win a couple $100 every day and leave, how long before they make their goal of banning you? I don't know if they would actually ban you, but they're not welcoming to you. You know what I mean? You're not the guy getting all the comps. Like, they're going to rate you low. They don't want your business if that's you, right? You're not the guy they're looking for. You know, the other 9 people at the table who are there to donk their whole vacation money, that's who they care about. You are not a threat to them. If everybody played that way, it would be a threat. But one person is not. That said, they don't want your action. They want a consistent, long, regular crack at your money. And if you're doing the target shooting, you're not giving them that. You're in and you're out. You're in and you're out. And if you're casino hopping, they may not see you for a week. So you drop in and hit and run a casino, once a month because you're going to 5 other ones or 6 other ones. They're, whatever. They're not going to kick you out, but they sure as hell don't want you there. So, Victor says, I don't play craps with the crew. It's just funny. That's funny. Let's see, what does Tom say? As a preliminary determinant, the amount of bankroll helps make the decision to play and or gamble. And you're right? Bankroll defines it all. And, I am always, as you know, stop loss 0. So if I'm going with 5, I'm losing 5 or I'm winning something, right? Typically. The problem that I have and the problem with that mindset is that at the casino with vacation or that fun team play thing you're doing, you're more likely to always lose the 5. And there's no lose 5 to win 100. There's no or risk 5 to win 100. There's risk 5 to win 1,000,000, and that's all you get, right? It's all here. It's all here. It's all in your head, guys. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go. To work here. I got a meeting at 8. Try it again. A meeting at 8 o'clock to get to. So tomorrow we'll talk about the $5 games in town. What my real thoughts on $5 games are. And with that said, you'll have a great Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you. God bless. Bye.